Team replace Allen on the red side, and first pick on the blue side is Caitlyn. So let's see what they pull out on the red side for team replace Allen.
Yeah, hovering over the Shaco and the Heimerdinger. I don't think they're going to go with either of those because that would be suicide for their team, basically. Um, they're going over the Maokai as well. They lock in the Maokai. Uh, a good first pick, very flexible. It can go into a lot of matchups, but we'll see how it ends up. And then the Vi as well. Hopefully, get some of that lockdown point and click CC. It's hard to mess it up when it's point and click between the
That
Maokai
is true,
and the
and
Vi.
with that is true. Cannot argue there. And with the twisted advance, that it should be able to make a pretty clear target for a lane gank for Kamari and Anak to set up in the top lane. Whoever the top laner is, it's pretty easy with flash twisted advance and the vault breaker coming out from Kamari. And we do see that Morgana and Gragas are locked in for Team Cash Money.
Yeah, bad thing about picking Vi that early into the draft is that Morgana is still left open. So Black Shield, the Twisted Advance, and the Assault and Battery from Vi is going to be crucial from Team Cash Money, and we'll see if they can pull it off. And there's also the Jinx and Lulu picked for Team Replace Allen as well.
Yes, and it's really starting to look like a pretty nice, pretty well rounded team right now coming out for Team Replace Allen. With those picks, it allows them to protect the Jinx if necessary, but also gives them a lot of modes for engage. And we'll see if this Morgana is going to be going in the support role or if it's going to be going for the mid lane. We see the Thresh hovering over from WTF's Lion right now, so that's kind of making me lean towards the Morgana being mid, hovering over a support pick right now, but all the mind games in the champion select, and so nothing yet selected for Feast. He knows that he's going to be going up against that Maokai, so we'll see what he decides to pull out against this team comp. That's it. It is the Gnar.
The Gnar, yeah, huge counter to Maokai. You have that max HP damage on your W, and you are ranged compared to the melee of Maokai. So it is the later the game goes, the worse it's going to get for Maokai. And with both the Thresh being locked in there, that's going to be a Morgana mid, and that's a lot of pick potential right there.
That is a lot of pick potential. It's also really good sieging power coming in with the Dark Binding and the Death Sentence coming out as zoning tools, as well as the Gragas Barrel to be able to siege with the Caitlyn. And let's see, Lyric is hovering over, locks in the Ahri for Call and Mockery in the mid lane. So, alright, so we have our team comps set up here in front of us right now, and right now, I'm actually preferring Team Replace Allen's team comp right now. I think that they have a lot of modes of engage, but as you were mentioning, that with the spell shield coming out from Morgana, coming onto a single target, that it could be kind of difficult to just kind of catch someone out. But I'm really liking the ways that Team Replace Allen's lanes are looking, or the team comp in general for team fighting is looking right now. But over on the blue side for Team Cash Money, I think that in the mid lane will be a really easy time for Battle Money, seeing as he will be able to spell shield the Vault Breaker or the charms, whatever comes out for him in the mid lane. So we'll see if he'll be able to pull those off. And let's see, and now at the last second, Feast changed his flash to a smite with teleport to smite against the Maokai.
Yeah, he really wants that lane dominance with the challenging smite as well, kind of giving up a lot of that early mobility from Flash, so he's very susceptible to ganks early, especially with the point and click CC from the Twisted Advance. So I would like to see Komari gank top lane and kind of punish that, but the later this game goes, the more and more Feast is going to scale and just be able to absolutely demolish Maokai. So we'll have to see how that one turns out later into the game.
Yeah, and if he is able to get the lane pressure with that smite, who's going to be able to stop him from just split pushing on the lanes and for Team Cash Money to just do a 4-1 split push. And so, as it is right now, with the Maokai, like, he's not the best at wave clearing, and, Gnar just being going to be able to push down the turrets, and I don't think that Team Replace Allen. We'll see how it goes, because they do have a really nice flanking position for Team Replace Allen to be able to go on to Team Cashmoni, that if they have the proper wards for the Vi and for actually the Vi, Maokai, and the Ahri to be able to wiggle their way around the rift to Monkey's Caitlyn and to just be able to try to blow him up, and when they're out of position, and then making it a 3v5 and a 3v4, or excuse me, a 4v5 if Feast is able to teleport back in. But I think that that's what we're gonna have to try to have Team Replace Allen do during this game, is they're gonna have to try to find a flank and put down the proper wards for them to be able to make those flank plays, and to make and for Team Catch Money to be able to try to make a pick with the Morgana Dark Binding and the Thresh Death Sentence.
Yeah, and I think Komari has to make a choice right now whether he wants to get the Jinx snowballing really far ahead early, because Jinx is the late game insurance for Team Replace Allen right now, and she will be doing ridiculous amounts of damage if she gets far ahead. But other than her, their team doesn't have much damage. You have the Ahri, which kind of, can assassinate somebody, but doesn't provide a lot of damage late game compared to, the Caitlyn and the Morgana and Gnar. So they have the potential of being outscaled here. But if they get that Jinx rolling, it will be really good for them. And if they get some early kills on the Maokai as well, to hopefully delay that huge power spike that Gnar is going to get as he ramps up from just items, the challenging smite. So to kind of delay that pushing power Gnar is going to have, and just basically demolish Maokai, because it's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's right. It is when it's going to happen for that Gnar. And, coming in here from Champ Select to the game in the Rift, that we'll have to see how Anak decides to play out the lane. And, we actually might want to be able to see the lane swap coming in. Actually wouldn't be a bad idea for these teams either. So that way it's kind of Maokai should be able to have an easier time farming, while it would be against a Caitlyn Morgana. It's a lot easier than it would be with another, to just be able to farm with the saplings. But interesting here to note that for Team Replace Allen, they chose their strongest player to be in the AD carry position with Calm Down, I'm Trying, and as opposed to Team Cash Money on the top lane, they decide with Feast on their Gnar to decide to try to have their most powerful player coming in for them. And we'll see which one of the two will be able to do more work, and we'll see how this game decides to play out. I think that within the first, by the time the mid game comes around, if there is nothing in favor of either one of the teams and they're pretty much even, I would actually give it over to Team Replace Allen.
Yeah, they have a very good comp with the Lulu to protect the Jinx, to just let the Jinx throw out her AoE rockets and deal a lot of damage in the back line, and the Ahri is there to maybe pick off some of the squishies between the Caitlyn, Morgana, and even Thresh is pretty squishy because he's a support. So you have a lot of squishies on that team that Ahri can potentially assassinate. The Black Shield does stop a little bit of it, but it's going to be very hard to get that Black Shield off in time.
Yeah.
For a lot of these charms, especially if they're grouped up and you don't know who the target's going to be.
Yeah, that is true. And I think the only modes of engage that they have for Team Battle or Team Cash Money, and we're here on the Rift, that for Team Cash Money would be the would only be like single target things for the Gragas ultimate, or a binding or death sentence landing from the other players. So there's a really single target focused, and so we'll see how they go here on the Rift.